I was so excited when I saw that. I think there's like 60 or more trades going on. You guys are wonderful. So I'm grateful. Let me put that on silent. So this was just to kind of hang out with you guys while you do the bars class and see what I can contribute. And also, if you guys have any questions, you can ask me anything you want about access or about what comes up after the bars, or I'm sure a lot of you have done more than just the bars. One of the things I wanted to talk, so please know you can jump in and ask questions at any time. We have the chat. I don't know how that works, but somebody will tell me. Is receiving. The thing with the bars, one of the things that the bars teaches us is how to receive. And when the bars started, I think 30 years ago, it was like no one really had an idea of what receiving was. You know, in this reality, we go, well, I must take or I must give in order to get. And this reality tells us that no, receiving is that, but that's not what receiving is. So what's this reality? Well, this reality is the box that we are told we should live inside. So, you know, we're born, we come into these bodies, we start growing up with our families, and we start getting all of these rules on which we should live by. So and within the box of this reality, we start basing our lives and basing our choices on the limitations that it tells us we should have. Like if you're sick, you should be sick. If you have no money, this is what it takes to have more money. If you want a relationship, this is what it takes to get a relationship. But we're not shown outside of that box. So I mean, if anyone's seen The Truman Show, perfect example of this reality, where he lives inside of this bubble and he doesn't actually know what else. He has a sense. He has this sense of what else is possible beyond the bubble, but also as being told and being expected not to want more than that. So he looks at it from the place of this is all there is. Sound familiar? Sounds like your life? You know, and that's what we do. And we live our lives based on, well, I'm sick, therefore I should go to a doctor. Not, I'm sick, what choice did I make or what point of view do I have here that created it? And so there's that. And then also there's the place of, with the I must get thing that this reality functions from. So if you want more money, I must get more money. In that, how much need do we create in our lives? With that need, we've already decided that we lack the money, therefore we're missing something already. Rather than, okay, what question could I ask? And if I was not functioning from this reality, what could I choose here that doesn't exist? See, one thing I know about all of us is we all have capacities beyond what we've ever explored. So everything you've done to diminish you and divorce you in order to fit into this reality, we destroy and uncreate it. Right and wrong, good and bad, pod and pock, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. So with the bars, we start learning, okay, we can actually receive. And you can actually lie down and get your life to change based on somebody willing to contribute to you and based on you willing to contribute to them. See, the bars works both ways. As you get a session, they get a session. As they get a session, you get a session. So it's about that place of communion that we all have that we rarely access. Why? Because we're never told about it. You know, like with relationship, for example, we go, okay, I need to find a relationship because there's something in me missing, there's something I need, there's something I should have, not what could it contribute to my life. And then we start looking for everything that we lack in our lives rather than everything that could be possible if we were willing to choose it. So what needs of this, what needs of this reality, what needs do you expect this reality to fulfill that only you can? Everything that is times a godzillion, we destroy and uncreate it. I love seeing all of you guys around here running bars. It's wonderful. Makes me happy. Right and wrong, good and bad, pod and pock, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. So in that place of communion, we have access to a universe available to us that outside of this reality exists, that if we start from the place of question, then we can start accessing different parts of us that we've decided cannot exist because we've been told, well, you can't have that. How many of you have been told you can't have something in your life, so you agreed with them and went, okay, I can't have that. I can't be that happy. I can't be that joyful. I can't have much money. I can't have a relationship that actually works for me. I can't have the sex that's joyful for me. So everything that is times a godzillion, we destroy and uncreate it. Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. So the other thing is with, you guys are all got blank heads, so you're kind of hard to talk to. We're running bars, making my job difficult. I'm joking.
Brendon, this is Sylvia. I have a question.
Okay.
One of the things that came up in the 7-day that we were out that just really stood out for me was when we started to look at where we think we're asking a question, but are actually functioning from doubt, where we confuse doubt as question.
Well, doubt is such a wonderful thing. How many of you doubt yourself in every moment? You know, and I've had this for a long time where I'd go, well, I could choose this, but what if? And see, doubt comes from the place of looking for a result rather than the place of what's this going to create. And as soon as you go into, well, if I choose this, this could happen, that's when we go to this place of doubt. So how many of you are using doubt in order to eliminate the choices you have available? Everything that is times a godzillion, we destroy and uncreate it. Right and wrong, good and bad, pod and pock, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. So I'm going to try something else. So all the distractor implants of, hopefully I can remember them, blame, shame, regret and guilt, anger, rage, fear and hate, obsessive, compulsive, perverted, addictive points of view, love, sex, jealousy, peace, business, doubt, relationship and fear. Did I get them all? Sylvia, tell me.
Yes, to do with business, relationship, yes.
All of those that keep you bound to this reality and keep you functioning within this reality and seeing no other possibility beyond it, will you destroy and uncreate it?
Yes.
Right and wrong, good and bad, pod and pock, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. See, the distractor, these are something we have in foundation called the distractor implants. And there's something that distracts you from your very being. So notice if you go into, say, a relationship. You go into a relationship, and most relationships are based on the place of, well, now I have you, so nobody else matters. We have two-ness, which is the two of us together, so there's nothing else around us that can contribute to us. What if you could do relationship from a place of communion where there was still the two of you, but you included everyone and everything in it? And see, this is the place that we also do with money. We go to, I need money. So anything you focus on takes you out of the place of communion. You cannot have communion with focus because you've decided this is what I need, this is what I have to get, and this is what's important to me. So everything that is times a godzillion, we destroy and uncreate it. Right and wrong, good and bad, pod and pock, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. The other thing that takes us away from communion, so let me backtrack a little bit. So us as infinite beings have total communion, but we use the limitations this reality tells us we need to function from in order to disconnect ourselves from that place of communion. So rather than I could include everybody and receive from everything, or no, I can't. I can only receive from my family or the people I like or the money I need or it's all based on need. So everything you've decided you need that doesn't allow you to see beyond what you could have, we destroy and uncreate it. Right and wrong, good and bad, pod and pock, all nine shorts, boys, millions. I wish I had an oracle. So all the distractor implants of blame, shame, regret, and guilt. I'm brain dead because you guys are.
I put them in the chat. You
Yeah.
got them all listed there.
So all of the distractor implants of anger, rage, fury, hate, blame, shame, regret, and guilt, addictive, compulsive, obsessive, perverted points of view, love, sex, jealousy, peace, life, death, living reality, fear, doubt, business, and relationship that keep you bound to this reality and keep you limited by this reality rather than see what's possible for you, we destroy and uncreate it.
Yes.
Right, wrong, good and bad, pod and pock, all nine shorts, boys, and beyonds.
Wow.
So all the distractor implants of anger, rage, fury, hate, blame, shame, regret, and guilt, addictive, compulsive, obsessive, perverted points of view, love, sex, jealousy, peace, life, death, living, reality, fear, doubt, business, and relationship that keeps you bound to this reality and keeps you living as though this reality is all that exists so that you cannot see what's possible and what's true for you, where you destroy and uncreate it. Right and wrong, good and bad, pod and pock, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. So notice also in that there's oftentimes for people, there's at least a few of them where you go, love, that's definitely my thing. Or jealousy, that's definitely my thing. Or fear, that's definitely my thing. Or anger, and you'll have these things where you go, as soon as I go to that, I lose this sense of me. So how many of you have these distractor implants that you go to in order to never have the sense of what's true for you? Everything that is times a godzillion, we destroy and create it. Right and wrong, good and bad, pod and pock, all nine shorts, boys and beyond. I didn't think we'd be talking about distractor implants, so that's funny. So all of the distractor implants of anger, rage, fury, hate, blame, shame, regret, and guilt, addictive, compulsive, obsessive, perverted points of view, love, sex, jealousy, peace, life, death, living reality, and fear, doubt, business, and relationship that keep you bound to this reality and never seeing beyond what this reality tells you can have, in order to never see what's possible and true for you. Everything that is times a godzillion, we destroy and uncreate it. Right and wrong, good and bad, pod and pock, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. You guys look so cute. I like it. One moment. Okay, so all of the distractor implants of anger, rage, fury, hate, blame, shame, regret, and guilt, obsessive, compulsive, perverted, and addictive points of view, love, sex, jealousy, peace, life, death, living reality, fear, doubt, business, and relationship that keep you bound to this reality. So you must never see beyond what's true. So you must never see beyond what limits you in this reality in order to never see what's possible and true for you. Everything that is times a godzillion, we destroy and uncreate it. Right and wrong, good and bad, pod and pock, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. So how many of you came to Access or found the bars because you were looking for a different reality? When I first started Access, I was extremely depressed. I was definitely ready to kill myself. I'd had enough. And by that stage, I'd gotten to that far down in my life that I was willing to go, you know what, whatever this takes, I'm changing it. That one demand that I made led me to access. And I found this little ad in the newspaper that said, all of life comes to me with ease and joy and glory, and this girl's name. And so I called her and she said, well, I do this thing called the bars. It's this weird thing with 32 points on the head. And at best case, your life will change. And at worst case, it'll be like you've had a great massage. And I was like, I'm in. I'm definitely in for my life to change and a massage. That would be wonderful. You know, and I went and saw this girl and did the bars, and my whole life changed in an hour and a half. But I didn't have the place of this couldn't work. I had the place of what would it take for this to actually change my life. For a lot of this, the doubt is in. We go, well, it can't be that easy. You know, it's got to be difficult. So how many of you are taught that in order to change, or how many of you are bought from others that in order to change, it must be hard work? Ever notice that with using some tools, it's kind of easy? So everything you've done to align and agree with others, with the point of view that it must be hard work in order to get through your limitations, will you destroy and uncreate it? Right and wrong, good and bad, pod and pock, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. So I went on to do classes, and when I went to my first COP class, what I thought I desired at that time was more girls and more money. That was it. But I also knew that wasn't true, but that through this reality, when I had to ask through this reality, that's all I could see that was true for me. So how many of you are looking through this reality, through this reality's limitations, in order to find out what's true for you? Guess what? It doesn't work. Everything that is times of God's aim, we destroy and uncreate it. Right and wrong, good and bad, pod and pock, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. So, anyone have any questions?
There's a question in the chat thread, and it's like, how would you explain COP briefly? Choice of possibilities.
Briefly is you'll come in one person and come out the other, come out another. You know, briefly, it's this place of learning. See, when I went to my first choice of possibilities class, Gary Douglas said, every choice that you've made up until now is what's created your life. And I'm only just starting to get this. So, and I've been around for a while. But I realized, okay, my life is the way it is now based on the choices I've made. Not 1 or 2 or 5 or 10 of the choices I've made, but every single choice. And you start getting to see, okay, so if I've created this based on the choices I've made, then what choices are available to me that I've never even considered? You know, what a lot of us do is we go, well, I can choose this, this, or this. And we put this selection of choices in front of us in order to make sure that we get what we choose is right. So if I choose this, will it be right? If I choose this, will I be wrong? Not if I choose this, will I be free and will I have more of me? And that's what the choice of possibilities class, I'm going to call it a COP from now on because that's way too long. That's what the COP class is. It's about, there's a whole different reality, there's a whole different universe available to us when we start seeing that our choices that we make can create beyond what we've told we need to live in. You know, for me growing up, it was, you need to live this way. I mean, my father was all about, you need to be this rough, tough guy. And I was like, have you met me? There's no way I can be that. But did I try? Yeah, I tried really hard for a long time to be what he'd decided I should be for him. So how many of you are living your lives and making your choices based on what somebody else has expected you to become? Everything that is times of God's aim, we destroy and uncreate it. Right and wrong, good and bad, pod and pock, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. So what if now you asked, okay, so what beyond this reality acknowledgement could I be for me so that I could see what's true for me? Everything that is times the Godzillion, we destroy and uncreate it. Right and wrong, good and bad, pod and pock, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. So
I tried to write it, Brendon, but I don't think I got it. Can you say it one more time?
So what beyond this reality could I be for me that would allow me to choose what was true for me? See, one of the things we do is we don't really look for what's true for us. And I mean, I say this in classes. I ask people, okay, what's true for you here? And most people go, what? How would I know what's true for me? I'm asking you to tell, and they ask me, I'm asking you to tell me what to choose, damn it. Tell me what to choose so I can get free of this. But I don't know what's going to get you free of it. Only you do. So how many of you are looking for, so what answer are you looking for in order to get your choices right before you'll choose it? Everything that is times the Godzillion, we destroy and uncreate it.
Yes.
Right and wrong, good and bad, pod and pock, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds.
That might go with
with
the question that came up, that clearing right there is, how do we deal with the humans at home?
By enjoying them. It's like, but the thing with, so I'm very aware that there's there could be people in here that haven't done a lot of access, and we kind of hit the ground running with this. So please know if none of this makes sense to you, it's okay. None of it makes sense to me half the time either. So everything you're doing to try and figure it out with your mind, we destroy and uncreate that. We're right and wrong, good and bad, pod and pock, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. The way that you handle anyone in your life, whether it be human or humanoid, is see the humor in people's insanity. Most of us look at it and go, oh my God, that person's crazy. How do I stop them being crazy? By enjoying them. Look at it and go, wow, that's interesting. How funny is that? But that's where that whole tool of interesting point of view comes in, is as long as you don't align and agree with anything, nothing can ever own you. Ever. It's the place where we align and agree with something that it becomes a part of our reality, and then we have to figure a way to change something that we've decided needs to be changed. What I've learned over the years, after many times of trying, is you cannot change anybody. They can only change themselves. And how pissed off do you all get when somebody tries to change you? No, damn it, I'm not changing. Change when I want to change. So everything that is times the Godzillion, we destroy and uncreate it. Right and wrong, good and bad, pod and pock, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. Okay. So I'm going to open it up to questions for you guys for now. If anybody has any.
Well,
No.
there was a second part to one of the questions in there, like, there's a group of people here from Mendoza, Argentina, and they, like, what had you choose Mendoza, or what has you choose different cities that you're facilitating?
Because I had to come and see you guys, of course. Look, we look at it from the energy of what's going to create more for the world. You know, and access is in pretty much every country now. I think we're in 177 countries. I don't think there's too many more than that. I think there's 180 something. So we look at it from the place of, okay, what's not only going to contribute to the people, but also what's going to contribute to the earth. See, one of the things we talked before a little bit about communion. Most of us don't really get that place because we look at, okay, well, I need to get what I need to get, because if I don't get it, then who's going to give it to me? But in nature, nature doesn't function that way. Nature functions from, let's work together as one, and let's create that way. And it's like, and if we start getting to that place and start having this place of communion, then your receiving allows you to penetrate the limitations that you've decided you cannot overcome. And as you change, I don't know if any of you notice, but as you change using the tools or not using the tools, but as you change, people around you start changing. So what would it take for enough of us on this planet to change enough for everyone else around us to have no choice but to change? And everything that is, and everything that doesn't allow that, times a godzillion, we destroy and uncreate it. Right and wrong, good and bad, pod and pock, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. So I started watching our Netflix and watched really how nature does work this way. It's like there'd be pods of whales, and on their own, they couldn't fish the way they could together. So they'd join in pods and they'd fish that way. And then that's the way that they contributed to each other, but also contributed to the planet based on what they didn't have a need. It was, how can we work together to make this work? And what we seem to have picked up on and what we've been taught in this reality is, no, you must do it on your own. What if you didn't have to do it on your own anymore? Okay, so everything that you've done to buy that you need to do it on your own and you're the only person that can do it for you, well, you just try and uncreate it. Right and wrong, good and bad, pod and pock, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. Also, all of the knowing that you've shut off in order to keep yourself separate from what you've decided would be too much for you, we destroy and uncreate that. Right and wrong, good and bad, pod and pock, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. So I'm not going to go too much more into that, but get the sense of, if it wasn't just this reality, what reality would you have available if you were willing to choose it? Does it make you lighter or does it make you heavier? So everything that you've done to buy that this reality is the only reality you could ever live by, and therefore you must die by it, amen, we destroy and uncreate it. Right and wrong, good and bad, pod and pock, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. Sul, I love that you're doing the washing in the background. That's just wonderful. Folding clothes, I like it. You're not getting your bars wrong. You're supposed to be getting your bars wrong. Oh, you guys look so peaceful and wonderful. I like it. So what else?
I have a question.
Go for it.
I'm just wondering if you can talk about the choice of possibilities class, like what it is for you and what it invites people to, and just what would you say about choice of possibilities class?
Well, we did talk about it a little bit, but I can talk about it more.
Yes, you can, because you're my favorite person talking about choice ever on the whole planet. So I think we should talk more.
Yeah, I kind of learned that when I learned that my choice created everything, I went, oh, wow. Because I was the person that came along when I first came along to Access, and I was like, actually, before I came along to Access, growing up, I was the person who, you know, I could never find any peace in my world. I could never find any joy. I could never find anything that actually matched who I was. So I started creating myself based on what other people thought I should be. And when I got to Access, it was at that place, like I said, that it just didn't work anymore. And what I did, you know, over the years was like, please God, help me. Or please somebody come along and create my life for me. Or please just tell me what to do. But I'd lost that sense of that I could actually create my life. So when I realized that my choices, every one of them, every single choice that I made created something, then I could start to access what it was that I know. And one of the things that we do is we try and get everything right, or we try and be not wrong with every choice we make. So we'll go, if I make this choice, will it make me more right? Which gives you how much awareness of what that choice is going to create. Not much. Or if I make this choice, will it make me less wrong? How much awareness do you cut off in order to look at it from that way? So what actual choice is the willingness to perceive that that choice will create, not knowing what it will create, just knowing that it will create. And a lot of us look for the result with our choices. We'll procrastinate forever on our choices, looking from, okay, if I choose this, will I get the result I desire? That's not choice, that's decision. So everywhere you've misidentified and misapplied decision as choice, we destroy and uncreate it. Right and wrong, good and bad, pod and pock, all nine, shorts, boys and beyonds. The thing that helped me a lot with learning how to change my life around and realizing that my choices did create was going, okay, if I was willing to get this choice wrong, what would I choose? And then I'd choose it and go, oh, that didn't really work. But I knew, and I got the awareness from it. See, every choice you make creates an awareness. You know, yeah.
Oh, sorry, Brendon. We have questions here.
Okay.
So go ahead.
So give me one more second.
Okay.
Give me one more second.
Right.
So when you get that every choice you make creates an awareness, then you can start building from what it is that you know is true for you. Because notice when I said before what's true for you, people go, I have no idea. Yeah, that's because we're not taught how to choose. But when you choose and go, okay, did that actually create me as being more of me? Or did I feel like I got less of me because of that choice? Oh, I got less of me. Okay, well, that choice didn't really work. And then you can start, if you start recognizing that, wow, that actually gave me more of a sense of me, then you start setting yourself you start building your awareness into, okay, what is actually true for me? And that's the only way that you get the sense of what's true for you, is by choosing it. And the choice possibilities class is a whole lot more than that too. It's like pretty much covers everything. The stuff, I mean, I think I've facilitated, I've been to, I don't know, a lot, but I've also facilitated, I don't know, 20 maybe now. And every one of them's different. Every single one of them, because it's based on what is up for people in the room. You know, I pretty much walk in and go, what's up? And then bam, it's like the stuff that comes out of people's worlds and the stuff that they're willing to go, you know what? I decided this is true. I've lived my life by it and I've had enough of that. How do we change it? Okay, good. That question alone, let's change it. And let's get to what's true for you. And if that's more money, let's get you more money. If that's you want a better relationship, let's get you a better relationship. If that's you want whatever it is that you desire, because see, one of the things with the universe is it will not give you more than you can handle. So if you go from, like for me, for example, when I first came to my first COP, if I would have went, I want to contribute to the whole world changing, or I want to be facilitating COPs, or it's like I wasn't ready for that. And if I would have done that then, I wouldn't have known how to do it. I wouldn't have had the tools, I wouldn't have had the energy, I wouldn't have had the awareness, I wouldn't have had the sense of myself in order to do that. So you got to recognize that, okay, I'm here where I am now, where can I choose from that? Not how do I get from here to here, but how do I start from here and create what I know is possible for me? Everything that brought up, times you got to me, just try and uncreate it. Right and wrong, good and bad, pod and pock, all nine, shorts, boys and girls. Everywhere you're all judging yourself now, for some reason, we just try and uncreate that. But I tried to get it right, but I didn't. Everything that is, we just try and uncreate it. Right and wrong, good and bad, pod and pock, all nine, shorts, boys and girls. Yes. Is it Betsy?
Okay, here we go. Can you see her?
Can
Okay.
you talk a little bit more about decision and choice, like the difference between the two, what it looks like?
Yeah, well, decision comes with the finality of what you must have from making that decision. Well, I'm deciding that it needs to be this way. Means you've already eliminated any other way that it can be. See, decision is the one way to get you into limitations. Because once you decide, you've already defined what it should look like and you've already eliminated anything else that's possible. So what else is possible with the decision is kind of redundant because you've already decided this is how it needs to be. Choice is allowing anything to show up based on your willingness to ask the question and then choose it. See, the thing in access is the building blocks for creation is question, choice, possibilities, and contribution. So with decision, you don't start with question because there's no question in it. It's I'm doing this, like it or not. How many of you have had that in your life where you say, I'm doing this, that's it, this is how it's happening, this is how it's going to be. You know exactly how it's going to be because you've already created it before you decide it. And then with choice, the question starts the question sparks the generative energy of what it is that you could choose. Then you make a choice. Okay, that choice opens up the doors to at least 800 different futures based on that choice. And then you choose again. That choice opens up a whole different reality of futures. Then you choose again, that choice, and you start to see, okay, that choice created this, and then what can I choose from now? You start seeing the possibility that every choice creates, not this choice has to turn out this way. One of the biggest things that's stopping us at the moment with choice is this right and wrong thing. Must get our choices right. You know, we teach our kids that. It's like, well, was that the right thing to do? How many of you how many of you learned to choose based on your parents' realities of, was that the right thing to do or the wrong thing to do? So now you're looking for, is it going to be right or is it going to be wrong? So everything that is times the God's name, we destroy and uncreate it. Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine shorts, boys, millions. Then comes contribution, which we've talked about a little bit, and that's the place where you're actually willing for, where you're willing for everything around you to actually contribute to where it is that you'd like to go. I talked about at the start with this, when we choose based on, we can only choose based on this reality. How much do you allow the universe to contribute to your choices? Which is why in Access we have a lot of these questions. What else is possible? Figure that out. What do you mean, what else is possible? There's nothing else possible. I've already chosen this. I'm doing this. Yeah, but what else is possible that you've never acknowledged? And what beyond this reality possibilities are available that we've all never acknowledged? Everything that is times the Godzilla, we destroy and uncreate it. Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine shorts, boys, millions. Does that help?
Yeah, thank you. Yep.
Awesome. I so want to do this process and I don't know if I should, but I'm going to anyway.
You should.
Go for it.
You should totally.
I'm doing it. I'm doing it. I've got to find it though. Oh. Okay, so what jails, and the jails are the judgments, agendas, inventions, and lies that we use to trap ourselves. They're pretty much the things that we use to keep ourselves in this reality. So what jails are you using to create the dominance of E, which is, oh shit, I am so brain dead. This is funny doing this, this call with you guys running bars. E, which is evil. equals mediocrity times corruption squared. Make sense? Good. So it's what jails are using to create the dominance of E equals MC squared as always having to be all right or all wrong as the only choice in life and living that keeps you from choosing a totally different reality with no conclusions that anyone else can have. Everything that is times a godzillion, we destroy and uncreate it. Right and wrong, good and bad, pod and pock, all nine shorts, boys and girls. Yowzers. So what jails are using to create the dominance of E equals MC squared as always having to be all right or all wrong as the only choice in life and living that keeps you from choosing a totally different reality with no conclusions that anyone else can have. Everything that is times a godzillion, we destroy and uncreate it. Right and wrong, good and bad, pod and pock, all nine shorts, boys and girls. I'm getting a thumbs up from someone, that's good. I like it. So what jails are you using to create the dominance of E equals MC squared as always having to be all right or all wrong as the only choice in life and living that keeps you from choosing a totally different reality with no conclusions that nobody else can have? Everything that is times a godzillion, we destroy and uncreate it. I probably should have sent that to the translators first, huh? Right and wrong, good and bad, pod and pock, all nine shorts, boys and girls. They're quick, they're good. They can handle it.
So Brendon, what do you recommend with this process? Because it does have a lot of energy.
Run it forever. You know, I've had this on a loop for a long time now, but I've seen all of the places where I've chosen to, I have to get it right. You know, and I realized it was something that came up the other day, and I was talking with Dane, and you know, there was this thing coming up, but I couldn't get to it. I couldn't get to the actual energy of the thing that I wanted to talk to him about because I was filtering it through, well, how do I tell him this the right way? How do I get him to see how I'm right so I don't have to be wrong? Or how, so that he can see how right I am. But if you notice this, we do it most of our lives. We go, well, I have to be right. We'll do it with parenting. How do I get parenting right? We'll do it with relationships. How do I get relationships right? How do I get my friendship right? How do I get every single word that comes out of my mouth right? Ever notice when a kid and they just say silly shit, like you poop head or, you know, whatever, but they're not trying to get it right. They're just saying what comes into their head, or they're saying whatever it is they want to say in the moment. So everywhere you've stopped saying what would create greater for you, well, wait a second, let's do something else. See, most of us also in talking will see, rather than what can somebody hear, we'll say, what's the right thing I can say to them in order for them to fulfill what I need from them? So we've gone out of, okay, what can this person receive? What can they hear? Into what can I get from them by the words that I say and getting it right? So how many of you are trying to get your words right in order to get what it is you've decided you need, rather than be contributed to by everyone and everything? Everything that is times a godzillion, we destroy and uncreate it. Right and wrong, good and bad, pod and pock, all nine shorts, boys, millions.
Hey, Brendon.
Yeah.
Going back to, I don't even know what it was now, a few minutes ago, but can you explain then, what is demand? Is demand a choice without getting involved in the conclusion or the outcome?
Well, demand can't come with conclusion, because demand comes from the place of, I am having this no matter what it looks like. But see, most of us think demand is this, well, I'm demanding to have this show up this way. Demand doesn't work that way, because that's decision. You've already eliminated anywhere that anything can contribute to it, because you've said, I'm having this way. I'm only having this show up this way. Demand is the energy of, if I was going to lose everything and everyone in my life right now, I'm having it, no matter what it takes. I don't care what it looks like. I don't care what it tastes like. I don't care what it smells like. I'm having it. And that's the energy of no matter what it takes. See, most of us, what we do with need is we go, okay, I'll do whatever it takes except. So which creates it creates a barrier, it creates a boundary within your demand. So you go, I'm having this no matter what, but. So you've eliminated the place where you will have it no matter what, and you've created it as a place of, I will have it only if I don't lose this. Most of us have things in our lives that we're not willing to lose, like our relationship, our money, our children, our whatever it is that you've decided you cannot lose. And it's not about losing it. It's about the willingness for it not to own you. See, most of us are owned by we're all owned by the things in our lives that we're unwilling to lose. So how many things in your life now you're willing to lose that own you? And I love the energy that comes up when I talk about this shit, because it's like, but I'm not losing this. I cannot lose this. I'm not telling you to lose it. I'm asking, what would it be like if you had the willingness to? It's a question. Not, well, now I'm willing to lose it, so there goes all my money. No, but could you have more money if you were willing to lose it all? Could you have a greater relationship if you were willing to lose it? Could you have better sex if you were willing to lose it? See, the things that we've decided we cannot lose cannot get greater. Everything that is, times a godzillion, we destroy and uncreate it. Right and wrong, good and bad, pod and pock, all nine, shorts, boys, millions.
Brendon, I have a question about demand. So can you talk about the difference between where you actually are demanding of yourself that I'm choosing this, I'm going to have it no matter what it takes, no matter what it looks like, versus the, like when somebody makes a demand, but then it's like this sort of forced control demand that everyone around them should do what they think that everyone around them should do, rather than it actually being the demand of yourself. Does that make sense?
That's called being a superior asshole.
Right. Yes,
You know,
I totally get that.
The only person you can ever demand of is you. You know, most of us go, well, I demand this person to create this for me. In that demand of others, that demand creates the expectation of them that they should be fulfilling something that you've decided they need. And in that expectation creates the separation. So they'll go, you know, for most of us, if somebody says to you, you must do this, what do?
Don't do it. Exactly.
Like, or don't do it. Oh, perfect example. Never want to tell me not to do something. I'm just saying I have a track record of don't tell me to not do something, because I'm going to do it. I'm going to figure out why you don't want me to do it so that I can do it, and then figure out what you were talking about so I can get my awareness based on it, not yours. So everywhere you're looking for other people's awareness by doing what they tell you shouldn't do. No, everywhere you're looking for other people's awareness by not doing what they're telling you shouldn't do, where you destroy and uncreate it. Right and wrong, good and bad, pod and pock, all nine, shorts, boys and beyonds. And the demand of yourself is knowing that whatever it takes, I'm having it. Whether it's this lifetime, next lifetime, 10 million lifetimes in the future, I'm having it. See, it doesn't have a timeline on it. I mean, for me, I found it interesting that the demand I made, within 2 days, my life had changed. And I was like, wow. But there's also other demands that I've made of myself that have taken years to show up. But like I said before, the universe will never give you something you cannot handle. So how many of you have given up on your demands of you because they haven't shown up yet? Or because they haven't shown up the way you've expected them to? Everything that is times a godzillion, we destroy and uncreate it. Right and wrong, good and bad, pod and pock, all nine, shorts, boys and beyonds. So what I do with demand is I'll get the energy of something that, and I won't demand until I know I can commit to it. Because I used to do that and I'd go, I demand this changes, but there'd be no energy there. I'd be like, no, I don't. I like being fucked up around this topic. You know, I demand my money situation changes. No, I don't. I love hating money. You know, but we make these demands of ourselves that we're not actually willing to commit to. So now what I do is, if there's something there that I know, I go, this changes. All right, I demand this changes. Whatever it takes, whatever I have to be, whatever I have to do, whatever I have to choose, whoever I have to lose, whatever I have to do, I'm having it. Now, universe, can you please contribute? That's it. Whether it shows up in the next 2 weeks, the next 2 years, the next 10 years, the next however many years, I have no clue. I just know it's changing. So everything that brought up, times of God's doing, we destroy and create it. Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pot, call nine, shorts, boys, millions.
And what comes up when you're talking about that is that includes the willingness to be super uncomfortable. Because when you make that level of demand, it's not comfortable.
Yeah, kids, if you're going to come along on the consciousness ride, I'm going to give a little caveat right now that it is not necessarily comfortable. But how many of you have had comfortable lives and they bore the shit out of you? You know, you get to this place going, well, I need my comfort. Your comfort with your body is one thing, but creating your life based on what's comfortable, has it ever worked for you? No humanoid I've ever talked to has it actually worked for. They go, oh, I'm bored. Yeah, well, what choice could you make that would take you beyond what you've decided is comfortable for you? So what choices could you all make that would create beyond what you've decided is comfortable? Everything that is times the Godzilla, we destroy and uncreate it. So what, no, let's do something else. So what comfort zone have you created for you in order to never create the uncomfort in others? Everything that is times the Godzilla, we destroy and uncreate it. Right and wrong, good and bad, pod and pock, all nine, shorts, boys, millions. Ever notice when you kind of choose something that's a little uncomfortable for you, that people around you who have included you in their comfort zone start getting uncomfortable, start seeing you as different, and then you go, oh, I can't be this different. I'll lose my friends. And then you go back into that comfort zone that you've created, rather than, you know what, I'm stepping out of this comfort zone. Do you want to come? Everything that brought up, times the Godzilla, we destroy and uncreate it. Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine, shorts, boys, and millions. So what choices are you not making based on your comfort zone in order to never create the discomfort in others? Everything that is times the Godzilla, we destroy and uncreate it. Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine, shorts, boys, and millions. So another thing we do with that is we'll do it in our relationships. We'll do it with the people we work with. We'll do it with pretty much everyone we come into contact with. Is we will look at how can I make myself into something that can fit into their reality. Notice when you're around somebody who's sad, you get sad. Or when you're around somebody that gets angry, you start getting angry. Or when you're around whatever, but you start seeing, okay, well, this is what they are. What do they need from me? In order to fulfill somebody's needs, you must become less than in order to match the lack they have of themselves. So everything that is, and everywhere you're doing that and done that, we destroy and uncreate it. Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine, shorts, boys, and millions. So what if you didn't have to fit into anybody's reality anymore? What if you could invite them into yours? Everything that is, we're getting deep now. Everything that is times the Godzilla, we destroy and uncreate it. Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine, shorts, boys, and millions. Okay, that's an hour. So if you guys have questions, I'm happy to go for it for a little longer. And then we're going to wrap it up.
Well, just one kind of more of a comment, I guess, but what really has struck me as you're talking is we're so like used to making someone else responsible for what we choose or what we create or don't create.
Yeah.
We buy this lie that what we create in our life has to do with someone else, and actually it has nothing to do with anyone else, because our choice is it. It's what creates it all. Has zero to do with another person on the planet. It's all what I choose.
I know, but it's wonderful to have a scapegoat, because then you don't have to make
right.
You don't have to ever own your own life. You can blame it on somebody else.
Exactly, the eternal excuse.
I know, the eternal excuse for never owning your own life. So how many of you are? Well, but this is all in that right and wrong process. So I highly recommend, if this is something that you'd like to change, is put that bad boy on a loop and run it. Because it's blocking a lot of stuff for me personally, and I know a lot of other people. And I'm still looking at, like, the amount of time. And the other thing that we're doing is recommending you could get a right buddy. You know, I've Simone and I realized that we do it a lot to try and get everything right. So, hey, do you want to be right buddies?
Estamos acostumbrados a ser responsables a alguien por lo que nosotros creamos o no creamos.
Pablo, your microphone, o Mariana, tienen el micrófono prendido.
No tiene que ver con nosotros.
El grupo de Mendoza tienen el micrófono, ya. Okay, go ahead, Brendon.
Was it a question or it was just...
¿Había pregunta? ¿Tenían pregunta ya de Mariana de Mendoza? ¿O solo se abrió el micrófono?
What was I talking about? Getting it
the
right.
right and wrong part, yeah.
So get your right buddy and say, how many times have you tried to get it right today? Oh, 8 billion. How many times have you tried to get it right? 10 billion. But it's like, but I started looking at every single, there's one thing that occurred for me today. And I was like, and it's kind of added a big change to my life. And I was like, I'm even trying to get that right. I'm even trying to get everything about that right. But I noticed with everything that I was looking at and everything that I was looking to choose was, well, how do I get this right? So if you didn't have that, how much freedom could you have to actually choose what was true for you? So what jails, I'm going to do it again, what jails are you using to create the dominance of E equals MC squared as always, as choosing, oh, hold on. As always having to be all right or all wrong as the only choice in life and living that keeps you from choosing a totally different reality with no conclusions that anybody else can have. Everything that is times a Godzillion, we destroy and uncreate it. Right and wrong, good and bad, pod and pock, all nine shorts, bones. So what jails are using to create the dominance of E equals MC squared as always having to be all right or all wrong as the only choice in life and living that keeps you from choosing a totally different reality with no conclusions that anybody else can have. Everything that is times a Godzillion, we destroy and uncreate it. Right and wrong, good and bad, pod and pock, all nine shorts, boys, millions. So what jails are you using to create the dominance of E equals MC squared as always having to be all right or all wrong as the only choice in life and living that keeps you from choosing a totally different reality with no conclusions than anybody else can have. Everything that is times a Godzillion, we destroy and uncreate it. Right and wrong, good and bad, pod and pock, all nine shorts, boys, millions. I could sit here and do this all night.
We wouldn't complain.
There was a question, Brendon.
Okay.
Tisha was wondering if you were looking forward to anything that might be created from the classes that you are facilitating in May.
I'm always looking forward to what gets created from the classes. The classes are epic. I love them, or I wouldn't be doing it. But what's happening in May? I have no idea. Oh, I'm coming to the US. I'm doing COP in New York very shortly. I'm also doing a relationship done different intro class in Los Angeles. So if you know, that's on the 14th of May. If you know anyone that wants to be tortured in relationship, I highly recommend sending them to that, because I'm going to torture people in relationship.
And Brendon, just to say real quick, in that intro, you've actually invited BARS facilitators to come for free.
Oh yeah, I have. So
Live.
any PDFs on here, you get it for free, but you have to come to the class. You can't get the audio live. We're doing live only. You get it for free. We've got COP coming up in New York on the 17th. We've got, what else we got? We've got Chicago in June. Chicago in June. Oh, we got lots of stuff coming up.
And then you're doing the 3-day relationship done different, June 1st back in LA.
Uh-huh.
Then you got Mendoza at the end of June.
Yes, exactly. I mean, that relationship done different is a very interesting class. We just started it. And I was actually shocked to see where we got to in the 3 days, because the people that came to the class actually wanted a different relationship. Not how do I get my relationship right? How do I control my partner more? It was, you know what? I want to lower the walls and barriers in this relationship and actually start functioning from this place of communion. How do we contribute to each other? And how do we contribute to the planet with having this? On how do we take from each other? So where we got to in 3 days was great. I was very impressed, and it was very different. So, yes. And for any of you, I'm going to give myself one more shameless plug. For any of you head trippers out there who love to think all the time,
in Mendoza in June,
then I'm doing a telecall on the 14th of May, which is going to be extremely funny, I think, because it's like I called it Head Trippers Anonymous, because I'm not a thinker. You can hear that head going. I'm not a thinker. I'm not thinking about anything. I'm at peace with myself. And you're like,
I had a private session with you, Brendon, and you said something about head trip. I'm a head tripper? I had no idea. But I could see the humor, and I could see it now. Yeah, it's just, yeah. So I'm grateful for this call, yes.
It's Head Trippers Anonymous, so you don't even have to, we could keep your name blank if you don't want to admit to your head tripping issues.
And he has the pragmatic possibilities with parenting that starts tomorrow. All of these links we've been posting in the chat here, so you can copy them, paste them, click on them, whichever. And then Sylvia actually put all Brendon class listings. So if you go to, you can click on that, or you can just go to the Access Consciousness website, click on classes with Brendon, and then you'll see the whole line of things. And I just want to say, like, for the COPs, New York, Chicago, Mendoza, all of those, and the head trippers, all those things, you don't have to physically go to any of these locations to join the call. They're either audio live or Zoomed, where you can join online. So there's, wherever you are in the world, you don't have to physically travel to get there. There's options for that. And I'm going to put a shameless plug for the parenting one, because I'm a parent of 3 kids and 3 stepkids. So literally, it's not so much now because they're older, but there was a time when I had 6 children in my house all the time. And if I did not have the tools that Brendon talks about brilliantly with parenting, I would have fucking lost my mind. So it starts tomorrow. You still have time to join. And I would highly, if you have children and hope that they make it to the end of graduation without being strangled, murdered, whatever, you should join the call. I'm just saying.
And Marnie,
so
this is Marnie, this is Andrea.
Yes.
The call is being translated also, and there are pop-ups for this call. São Paulo, we are going to have a pop for that. So if you want to join other parents that might be going a little bit crazy with their teenagers, for example, they can join one of the pops, and it's so much fun. So let people know.
I've got secrets on how to handle teenagers.
Yeah. And thank you for that, because sometimes even just being with other parents and you know, I remember being actually Simone and I were, I think Megan and Simone and I were, but we're talking about boys and like, Jesus Christ, what's it take to get them to take a shower, you know? But then to realize you're not the only parent whose sons don't want to take showers, you're like, oh my God, maybe I'm not terrible. So anyway, yeah, that. And the question in the chat, how much X-Men stuff comes up in the parenting class? Depends on the class, but I haven't been in one yet that a bunch of it doesn't come up because a lot of us have X-Men kids. So yeah.
Cool.
Yep. So there's tons of choices, tons of options. And I just want to say thank you to Brendon for being on this. And thanks to all of you for hosting trades and all of you that joined the trades. And wow, what a cool energy to be doing a Zoom and having a conversation while people are gifting and receiving bars. So thank you for your choice.
I want to, as soon as I've got you all on here still, I'd like to ask you guys if you would help, or if you would contribute to something, to just everything that we can contribute to the planet at the moment. We can do everything we can contribute to the people whose sole desire is to destroy the planet. Can we do some 15s, which is about the place of getting people to either see that they need to change or die. Okay, because one of the things we've been talking about for years now is that this Earth has 12, at this stage, and scientists are talking about it, has 12 years left before it reaches its crux point, which means where it reaches its point of no return, its point of we've destroyed it into a place of it actually cannot regenerate itself while we are living on it. I highly recommend watching the Our Planet documentary on Netflix. It's like to see the facts in it, like the way that they've studied the oceans, the way that they've studied the land, the way that they've studied the critters, the animals, the everything, on even the fishing in the ocean. It's like, but this is the place where we need to get more aware if we want to have a planet around in the next 20 to 100 years. And what we're asking for is let's create for a sustainable planet in the next 10,000 years. Because what most of us do is we go, well, I'll be dead in 50 years, who cares? Yeah, but are you going to come back, or are you just going to stay out there? You know, and until we get to this place of this, well, actually, I'm not even going to go into that. But what if enough of us started looking at, okay, what would it take for us to create a sustainable planet for the next 10,000 years? You know, 12 years, not happening. So everything that is, and everything that doesn't allow us to perceive, know, be, and receive the capacity we have to create that, we destroy and uncreate it. Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine shorts, boys, millions. I personally love this planet. I think it's pretty. I don't want to see it die. So on 15, can we do some 15s and 14s, which is death? So we're just killing idiots. No, I'm joking. In order to create the place where people get that they either need to change or die. On 15, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 15, 14, 15, 15, 15, 15, 15, 14, 14, 14, 14, 15, 15. Thank you. I adore you guys. I hope you keep having a wonderful bars trade. Have too much fun.
Thank you, Brendon from Victoria, Canada.
You're welcome. Thank you, guys. You're awesome. I know half of you are probably asleep because you're getting your bars run. Now I need my bars run. Okay, good.
Thank you.
All right, have too much fun.
Brendon. Thanks, everybody.
Brendon, thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you. Gracias.
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 Obrigada.
Muchos lugares.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Chao, te esperamos en Argentina.
Chao.
Gracias.
Gracias.